In this video, I'm going to show you how to run MicroProfile Telemetry code samples from the MicroProfile 7.1 API tutorial. So here is the MicroProfile API tutorial. I am in the chapter which is MicroProfile Telemetry 2.1. As you can see, this specification is based on OpenTelemetry, which is a specification from CNCF, Cloud Native Computing Foundation. And in this chapter, I have described about various concepts related to telemetry, which includes generating spans, traces, propagating context. So it's all about having log messages, having tracing, as well as doing distributed debugging. These are the use cases which are related to observability, debugging, performance, monitoring, and system reliability. So along with this chapter, I have code examples as well. The snippets are described in this particular tutorial chapter. And to understand better, you can run the source code examples. So the chapter is the chapter 9 of the tutorial. And here I have a README file which describes about the MicroProfile telemetry and how it is implemented. And along with the README file, I will have the descriptions. So let me switch to the GitHub repo. I have already cloned, so I'm going to go into the appropriate branch. So let me quickly check out my code. So git checkout, and then I will give the name of the branch. So now we have successfully checked out to the branch which contains the source code. I'll share the details in the description. And if you are already a person who has learned via MicroProfile tutorial, this code base would be already familiar with you. So now I will move to chapter 9, which is about telemetry. So let me switch to the code folder, and within that I have the chapter 9 folder. So if we go inside this folder, you will find a payment service. This is a microservice which simulates payment processing via an external gateway. So we have used this service for fault tolerance. We will also be using this for demonstrating the telemetry. So now let me open the README file which is associated with this chapter. So within payments, we will have the README file. In this README file, we will have the instructions to run this particular code and view the logs, matrices, traces, everything in the LGTM observability stack. LGTM observability stack stands for Loki, Grafana, Tempo, and Prometheus or Mimir. So this is a demonstration which will show the OpenTelemetry collector. So you can see here we have also here the steps to build and run the source code. So I'm already inside chapter 9. Now what I can do is I can start the LGTM observability stack, which is provided in the form of Docker Compose image. So let me run the Docker command mentioned in the README file. So you will see that, okay, my containers are getting created. Let me make it up. And now I have 5 containers started within few seconds, which is for the Tempo, Prometheus, Loki, and there is Open Telemetry Collector and Grafana. Now, as a next step, I can verify the same whether all the collector is all the containers are started. So I'll run the docker compose ps command. This will list the containers and their associated statuses. So here you see these are the services which is running Grafana, Loki. These have been created and there has been a status update also up since last 33 seconds, up since 35 seconds and so on. So this verifies that our LGTM stack has been successfully started and all 5 services are running. Now you can verify this by looking into their endpoints as well. So I go to the ports and then I'll open them in the browser. You can verify it using the curl command as well, but let me verify it using browser. This will give you a better view of what all is running. So let me come back here and we have to ensure that these visibility of the ports are public. So let me update the visibility and then we will see that this will be running. So for example, I see here the Grafana is getting opened. I can open this in browser and you see that this is the sign in page of Grafana. So similarly, we can verify other ports as well. For example, 13,100 is for the other service. So this is slash ready. So let me open and then go to the appropriate endpoint. So when I type ready, then it will give you the status. So here you have the status here. So let me also look into Prometheus. So I'll open it in Chrome again. So now Prometheus is also running. Now let me just refresh the status of the other service, which is Loki service, and now I see the status ready as well. So here now all the services are running and I have verified them through browsers as well, because these were the curl commands which could be executed directly in the browser also. But you can verify it in your terminal as well. So you see here the status ready is being returned. So let me try them also in the terminal. And finally for Prometheus, I will give the command curl command as shared in the readme file. So Prometheus server is healthy. So this is step 1 is completed. We got the LGTM stack running. Now next thing is we have to log in to Grafana. So let me do that as well. We have opened up the login page and we have to log in into Grafana using our admin username and password, and we can skip resetting the password. That's up to you. Now I am inside the Grafana dashboard. So as you can see here, there is different data sources. So let's add all the data sources as described in this particular README file. So that in this dashboard, I will get all the uh, tools integrated. So that is what is meant by LGTM stack. So let me go to the data sources. So in the Grafana, you will see there will be various options. So if I click on here, you have options to create new dashboards. You have the data sources options here within the connections. And then this is already configured because I did this in my last, just before this session, I have done this, but you would have to set this. So for example, for Loki data source, you have to configure Loki 3100. This is how you do it. So here the configuration is also shared. So you have to add these three data sources, which is Prometheus. Prometheus is added like this. This is the connection URL, and you can test these connections as well. So here save and test option is there, which you can execute. So you will see that successfully queried the Prometheus API. So once you have updated the configuration, you can just save and test and see if this is reachable, and it should be reachable. And once this is properly set, if you have made some typo, then only it will not be reachable. This way you can verify, and if or your Docker is not running properly, some containers have been stopped, then that could be another reason why it would not connect. So you can verify this. So this is tempo configuration. So connection, we just have to fill one property, keep the defaults for rest of the settings, and then you can just click save and test. So this is all about configuring your data sources. So now next thing is we have to run our application and see the telemetry data in the dashboards here. So let me for time being close this, and I will go inside the payment folder again, and I will first compile and package. So I'm giving this command ambient clean package, and this will verify whether the source code is compiling successfully, and it will generate a war file which I will deploy in the next command, which will be ambient liberty run. So now I have seen the build is successful. Now next thing is I will run and deploy. So I'm running this payment service in Open Liberty server runtime, and this will also share the telemetry data, because you see here the feature telemetry is enabled here. It will share the telemetry information to our LGTM stack, which we just configured. So this is in the process of starting, and once this is successfully started, you will see this message: the server MP server is ready to run a smarter planet. This is a standard message in Open Liberty server. And once this is there, we can visit the URL, and then we can run some commands to generate that traffic. So here I have seen this message: the MP server is ready to run a smarter planet. So now we can go to the port 9080. Let me open this in the browser. So let me add this port, and once this 9080 port, yeah, this is here. I will open this in Chrome browser again. So this is my default Open Liberty page, and when I click on /payment, that is where I will hit the root of my payment service. So coming back quickly, I can go to the Swagger URL as well. So let me first make this with visibility public, and let me open payment endpoint and the endpoint which is associated with the Swagger. So now once I made it public, we went to the default homepage of the payment service where we have described what kind of features are implemented. So there is a home page for the payment service, and we also have an open API Swagger documentation. So let me show you that as well. So yes, you know, somehow in my browser, first time it is redirecting to localhost, but should not, because I am using GitHub, so which does port forwarding. So here you see the Swagger documentation for this API, and here also I can run the services. So now coming back to our README file. So we want to generate some telemetry information. So we will make some calls. So we go to our terminal. Let's open another terminal window where we can run the curl commands. So the first command is a post command. So we run a post command. Let me check. So basically, I'm trying to run this particular service, which is API/authorize. And when I click on try it out, I can put some amount here and I can execute this. This will give the real server response. So here there are retries, fallback, timeouts implemented. So it should return the data from service, and it will also simulate some error conditions. So for example, here status failed, payment service is currently unavailable. I can put some other amount, I can try this again, and this is just a simulation. So here you see this payment has been successfully processed. So there are random errors which have been added here. Which will indicate error conditions. So let me give a try again here. So when you will try this in the curl command, so we have to ensure we have used the appropriate URL. So let's use the correct, so the open API to run this, because due to some settings, this particular curl command is not getting executed here. So I see that, okay, there is an API endpoint which is missing here. So that is one of the reason why this command is not executing. So that we can update quickly. So the endpoint is here payment, and then there should be, this is the context, root API and authorize, and this will give you the right outcome. So I'll update this so that this is also updated, and you will be able to successfully run this with the updated commands. So this is one of the API. So few telemetry data has been generated. In the same way, we can copy more commands as well and execute them. So this command has been executed. Similar commands, I can run it via OpenAPI as well, because this is about payment config and process example endpoint. So this is another API, which is the post API. So this one, and here when I try it out, I have to provide the request body. I've pasted the request body. Now, when I will click on execute, it will make a call to the server and it will return 200 response as well. So this is how you will execute. Maybe you can execute this few times so that we get good telemetry data. I will also execute this authorized payment endpoint as well, so that we get some sufficient amount of telemetry data which we can view in our Grafana dashboard. So now let's look into the traces. So let me open the dashboard. So to open the dashboard of Prometheus, so we have to go to the Grafana dashboard. So let me open it in browser. I had it in some other tab, or I can just open it again by going to 13,000 port. So let's try opening it again. So now I'm in the Grafana dashboard. I'm already logged in because previous time I provided the password. Now I have various data sources here. So I can explore these datas. So here when you see, I have an option of Tempo, Prometheus, Loki, all available here. So let's first verify this in Tempo. So let me follow the instructions as shown in the README file. So in the README file, we have executed the payment service. Now we have created good amount of telemetry data. Now to view it, we went to Tempo, and then we have to search with the service name. Service name is payment service. This is already coming up. And when I run this query, it will load the, so this is the run query button. And when I run this query, it will show me all the traces. So which is already loaded here. And you can see that these are the commands which we ran. So this is the telemetry data which is appearing. So we will see a lot of details here. Span attributes are there about what kind of payment was made, what was the amount, and what was the status. So these all attributes have been instrumented in the source code. So they are appearing in this particular dashboard. So this provides complete visibility of our microservice, and we can trace the microservice and view various attributes, every details of our execution. So there were in this particular microservice various span which we created, which was payment process, payment amount, payment method, payment status, which all were appearing. We can verify the flow also with so for example, there was a flow, like we validated payment details, then there was perform fraud check method executed, then verify funds availability and record transaction. So these were the events which we logged. So these are different kinds of events which were logged, or span name, so which was available here, and we can even filter with these attributes as well. So we made multiple calls, so that's why we are getting different details. So you see here, these are attributes which are appearing, and then you also see what is the host, what is environment through which this was executed. So you get the complete telemetry. I have also attached the screenshot in the README file so that you can very easily understand it. You can filter by span name as well, which could be name of the endpoint, and then get the details for these span and see what kind of calls were made. So this is what I have shown already to you. We also looked into the payments attributes. For different API calls, there will be different attributes which will get logged. Now let's look into the Loki, which will show us the trace ID. So this will give us information on what are the performance attributes. So let me open Loki. So here I will go to Loki and I have to execute the dashboard. The right side I can close because we don't use it now. We've seen, no. And then service name I will again put. I'll again put payment service as the name of the service, and then I can run the query again here. So this will give us a graph of how many calls were made. So what logs were made. So you see here payment processed successfully. This is the amount. So you are seeing complete visibility. So there was some exception mapper detected and getting handled. So you have detailed logs as well available. So all the activities have been recorded here in this particular Loki dashboard. So this is the demonstration of Loki dashboard. So again, no steps are mentioned here, and there are some more queries which we can do. We filtered by the service name, or other option is we can filter by the exporter as well. And then you will look into the trace ID, you will see the traces. Then finally we can look into the Prometheus. Prometheus will give us the matrix information. So basically matrix information is available in Prometheus. Then we have the traces which is available in logs, and traces are available in Loki. And then we have Tempo, which is Tempo has traces, Loki has the logs. So this is very easy to remember. T means tempo and T stands for traces. Loki logs. No, L, it's all the name starts with L. And Prometheus or Mirmir, this is the new name. This has matrices. So now let me look into Prometheus. So the steps are mentioned here. We have to go to the Prometheus dashboard. So we go to Grafana, explore, then select Prometheus, and then we can query any of the metrics. So let me follow the same steps. So I go to explore, I choose the Prometheus option, and then I can choose a metric. So the metrics, so there are all the matrices which is available here. We look for something which is payment related metrics. So if we share our payment attempts total, then we will see the value. So I can run this query and you see the graph of the metrics, how many payments were attempted against the time. This could be viewed as line graph, bar graph, or points, whatever you prefer. And this is everything which we can verify using telemetry. So we can do further breakdown of these matrices. There are more filters which is available. So you can try out all these commands and you can look into fault tolerance matrices also using Prometheus. So this is in continuation to the previous chapter on matrices and fault tolerance. So you can verify your fault tolerance behavior as well as whether they are generating good matrices using Prometheus. And Prometheus uses the open telemetry collector. So there are some troubleshooting steps also provided in case if you face any issues. Now, once you have verified all these telemetry logs and if you just want to clean up your environment, you can do that. So you can just close the Docker. So you have to go to code folder, then chapter 9, and we can stop the Docker processes by giving the command docker compose down. And this will close all the Docker services. So you see these services have been stopped and removed. So then you can run the docker compose up -d command to recreate. Right, so this is just recreating it. But if you just want to, so in case you face any issues, you can follow these steps to recreate it. And if not, you can just simply give the first command to switch them off. Restarting the payment service could also be done if there are some problems with your payment service. But there will not be many until unless some port is used already by some other service or something has been misconfigured. If you're playing around and if you have modified some settings, then there could be some problems. But don't worry, we have the troubleshooting steps also documented in README file. So with this, we are at the end of the demo. So we close this. Hope you find this